Like, the Fredheads amuse me because we know eventually Archie's gonna start the Archies, and that will be his inspiration. It's supposed to be a shitty band name, but really, it don't get any worse than Zit Remedy.
Sugar. Oh, honey, honey.
Hi!
Hi!
Welcome back to Tanner's Books and Beyond. It's just now occurring to me I haven't had a book video in like a month. But anyways, welcome back to Riverdale Recaps! Today we've got episode 7 of Riverdale.
What was it called?
After Faster Pussycats Kill Kill, all other episode titles pale in comparison.
Yeah, that is true.
It was a really chill episode too.
Yeah, it was more character stuff going on.
Yeah, everyone kind of took a moment to catch their breath before we move on to the second act of the show. Because now we're hitting the halfway point.
Yeah, this was a very Jughead-focused episode. Jughead does have a place to stay at the beginning. He is at the school, underneath a staircase. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Is in the boys' change room, showering,
brushing his teeth, etc.
And
Archie pops up behind him, and he finds out that he's been staying at the school for a few weeks, and then before that he was at the movie theater for a while, and he finds out about all the stuff going on with Jug and his dad, because ever since his dad's gotten fired, he really hasn't been doing so hot, and he fell off the wagon.
Yeah, he really hit the booze.
And we were, like, our earlier concerns about Jughead's mom and Jellybean were...
Thankfully!
Yeah.
Alleviated.
Yeah, wasn't as nearly as bad, because it turns out Jughead's mom left with Jellybean, nobody got seized, and they are actually seem to be doing alright, because we find out later that his mom's going after a GED, and Jellybean is helping her study, and she wants to be known as JB now.
Because it's cooler.
And she listens to Pink Floyd on vinyl.
And she's 10!
Oh my god.
She's the most hipstery 10-year-old.
Yeah, gotta get it out of her system early, I guess.
Yeah. Well, with a brother like
That's
Jughead.
true. But yeah, it's definitely a broken up family, and Jughead has chosen to essentially opt out of it all instead of try and fix it, because he's probably been trying for years now.
Yeah.
And there's been no forward motion.
Yeah, especially on FB's
But now Archie knows, and so he talks to his dad and convinces him to give FP another shot at the construction company. He takes it, and they have a really good first day, and then, of course, everything goes downhill, because this is the standard first day sober practice of, hey, that day went really well. Let's immediately drink all the alcohol in the vicinity.
Yeah, well, they also talk about their past and all that. So apparently, FP and Fred had a band. They weren't that good.
The Fredheads.
This just furthers my idea that the kids right now are basically just like the Xerox version of their parents.
Yeah. They also started the construction company together, but then FP fell on hard times, and he had to take a lot of odd jobs. Some of them landed him on hot water, so serpent stuff. So Fred, he bailed him out, but he also kicked him out of the company. And then Fred explained to Archie that it was because FP was stealing stuff from the company, he was showing up drunk, all that bad stuff. Archie's like, I kind of get that, and that sucks, but... you kind of hung Jughead out to dry, too, when you did stuff like that. Climax of that plot is... remember how we mentioned that maybe you shouldn't have set up a murder board in the middle of the newspaper office?
Well, Principal Weatherby...
and Sheriff Keller...
find it finally.
And they frog march Jughead to the station, and Keller's like, we found your fingerprints at the car that got torched. That was no surprise. But then we also found your juvie record of you trying to burn down the elementary school, and you were bullied heavily
by the football team.
Including Jason.
Yeah, it's basically insinuating that Jughead might have killed Jason.
And the thing is, of course, there's no malice with Sheriff Keller, because the poor guy is so out of his depth with something like this.
Yeah.
He is grasping at any straw he can.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that both the Coopers and the Blossom, they've at least browbeated him into doing what they want.
He's just saying look, Jug, I know you probably didn't. I have no leads. Do you see any fucking leads anywhere? I checked your board and you are as clueless as we are. We're still at square one, Jughead. Give me something.
Jughead climbs up, asks for a lawyer.
And instead he gets Fred there, and Fred forges an alibi for Jughead to get him out, because basically he says maybe he should have given FP another chance, maybe he shouldn't have, but Jughead doesn't deserve
this bullshit.
Sins of the father and all that whatnot.
Yeah.
So he gets him out of the station, FP shows up way late to the station, and he's about to throw down.
And he's drunk.
And they have half shouting match, half heart to heart, where FP promises he's gonna clean up his act, and everyone's kind of like a little doubtful, but they haven't completely given up hope on that. But eventually Jughead does agree, and FP even says, probably for the best if you stay with the Andrews right now, while I try and get shit together. Jughead and Archie are both kind of cynical about it. Well, I don't know. Archie's probably optimistic because he's a fucking puppy.
Yeah.
But Jughead's like, I'm not gonna give up hope on him yet. But yeah,
But-
for now they're rooming together.
Yeah, and like I think for FP to really sober out, I think Jughead's gonna have to stay with him for a weekend and, you know, do the whole detox, cold turkey stuff.
Yeah.
Which is gonna be rough.
Mm-hmm. The other major plot was Polly. It starts off with Betty telling the Scooby Gang the Cooper family does not want anyone to know that Polly escaped. They haven't even told Sheriff Keller yet because they want to do it on their own. They probably want to shut her back into the asylum as soon as they find her. And she's like, we definitely don't want Cheryl and the Blossoms to find out. And then pans back to, I think, Ginger Lopez immediately starts texting.
Yeah.
And then Cheryl finds out and then she storms up to her mom and Sheriff Keller. I totes have extreme details on #mybrother'smurder, but first off, you need to get lit and make me the cheer captain again. She probably didn't say it like that, but she might as well have. So they make her cheer captain in return for finding out that Polly was in an asylum and escaped last night. And then she tweets it out to all of her followers, entirely in hashtags. And it's like, I don't think the writers know how hashtags work.
Or it's just how Cheryl is. So anyway, that gets out to everybody.
The Coopers call together a community search of the forest to try and find Polly, which is then joined by the Blossoms, who are dressed like they are hunting rabbits.
On the moors! It looks like they came straight out of Downton Abbey.
They're dressed like they're going on a fox hunt. They've even got they have beagles out.
I'm surprised that they don't have horses and trumpets.
Yeah. They have a press conference and they announce that Polly is pregnant with Jason's child and therefore she couldn't have been the killer because she would love Jason. She would never have killed the father of her unborn child. And then the Blossoms all get really distraught over that. Cheryl comes back to Betty and Cheryl's like, I'm sorry I was a huge bitch to you for the 4th time this month, but I've decided that we're going to be friends again for now. We're both on the same team now, and because that is a Blossom baby that Polly has, so now she's basically part of the family. And Betty is like, my options are still limited. And because at this point, Betty had actually found Polly.
She was telling Jughead that Polly has a history of running away. So when she was 9, she ran away for a couple of hours.
But she was just chilling in the attic.
Yeah, like you do.
She also kissed Jughead when she realized this. So far the only times they have kissed are when Betty gets an idea about the case.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, Betty does go to the attic and finds Polly.
Polly basically says that I still want to run away. I still want to find a safe place to raise the baby because I know my parents are not going to let me keep it. And I need money. I need allies, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, so then Betty's like, well, Cheryl is offering money. So that is something that we could actually do.
Yeah.
And then she meets with the Blossoms. Of course, the Blossom parents are on full-on Stepford mode.
So they're like, of course we'll help because the baby's part of the family and you're a part of the family. Hold hands.
Then Cheryl's mom is basically interrogating Cheryl, and it's like, you said that Polly was a party girl. Did you ever see her take drugs? And Cheryl's like, I don't think I actually did. Because we don't want a bad girl raising JJ's baby now, do we? And
basically
Cheryl's like,
that we are willing to, cesarean this baby out of there.
Cheryl's like, maybe my terrifying parents are still terrifying even when it comes to people who aren't quite in the family yet. There's a meeting at Pops, which I guess the teens just asked Pops to shut down the diner so they could have their clandestine meeting. Yeah, it's the whole Scooby Gang and Polly just sitting there in public. I don't know, maybe this is happening at 3 in the morning. It is a 24-hour diner.
Yeah,
anyways,
maybe Pops just cool with this sort of stuff.
Yeah, Pops is probably the secret keeper for literally everyone in town. Yeah. And so Cheryl shows up, and Polly and Cheryl have a heart-to-heart, and Cheryl's like, oh, by the way, I didn't tell my parents that we were meeting here because they're super terrifying, and I'm pretty sure they're going to try and steal the baby from you, so you need to fucking run, Polly.
So, thankfully, Veronica steps in. Don't worry, I got this.
Yeah.
So, Polly is moving in with the Lodges over at their apartment.
That segue into the Veronica's plot, which was basically her still being furious at her mother for forging her signature. So in order to get vengeance on her mother, she does some retail therapy.
And then she goes partying.
Yeah.
With a really nice group.
Her most famous friend, Josie, her best gay, Kevin, and disposable arm candy, Reggie.
Yeah. Perfect group. So yeah, they party it up, and apparently it's like super easy for all of them to get in there because they
Let's chalk it up to Rich, sheriff's son, mayor's daughter, and Reggie probably makes fake IDs like as a hobby.
Honestly, Reggie reminds me of the hockey players on Letterkenny.
This is true, yes.
About the same IQ as Riley and Jonesy.
Yeah.
So.
There was probably some B-roll footage that didn't make it into the episode of him and Kevin, like, grinding together. Because we got some of that with Josie and Veronica.
Yeah.
So, chalk some more points onto the scoreboard of then definitely being open to lady loving.
Yeah. Veronica said that this was a normal tactic for her get Hermione to negotiate some sort of terms.
And they do. And Veronica, like, she comes to accept that Hermione and Fred are starting to develop feelings for each other, but she says, I don't want it happening in this house because you and Dad are still married and I still have loyalties to Dad, and I don't want Dad thinking I betrayed him. And so
Hermione's cool with that.
Hermione understands that, and she's like, it was more important for us to get into legitimate business. We're going to call your dad and sort everything out. And so Hermione is now back in the good parents.
Yeah.
She and Sheriff Keller, who really needs a first name.
Yeah.
But she and Keller and Fred can all go back to being the Awesome Parents Club.
Yeah, and, like, Hermione is super cool with letting Polly stay with them.
Yeah.
So yay!
So yay! And so then at the end, we got of FP back in the trailer, back on the bottle again, and the very last shot is we see Jason's Letterman jacket in FP's closet right beside his Southside Serpents jacket. So
probably the Southside Serpents were providing the drugs that Jason was selling.
Yes, that's pretty much a given, because where else is he going to get them?
Yeah. Either the Killer or the Blossoms hired FP and or the rest of the Serpents to torch the car.
That was our breather episode, I guess. Gearing up for round 2. All the family drama is going to start coming to a head.
Yeah.
Now that we've outlined all the pieces, everyone's just going to start fucking each other over.
Yeah, so Hermione says, like, Blossoms and the Coopers have been the Hatfields and McCoys since forever.
And then the Blossoms are going to start interfering with the Andrews stuff, and then...
Probably because Archie looks so much like Jason.
It's true. I still have a theory that Archie might actually be a Blossom kid. For some reason, Archie's getting involved in the Serpents. We see him getting the shit kicked out of him.
Oh yeah, there's probably also going to be the very wanted bitch slap fight between Alice and Penelope. Next episode's going to be very interesting.
We'll see you guys in 3 weeks, but until next time, that's what's happening in a little town called Riverdale.
Bye!
Then what, that's 2 weeks from now? No, 3 weeks from now. Right? Today's the 10th.
10th, so...
17, 24, 30.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, that's 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
We can count.
We're smart.